What is going on? Beyond the break here with a PSA submission review. We have 20 cards we are sending off to PSA, so want to kind of break down the cards, kind of our price points in terms of what we're anticipating from a grade standpoint. Not taking advantage of any specials right now. Currently, PSA is running an 80 to 90 special. Don't have enough cards that I feel comfortable sending, though it is only 10 cards minimum. It's just something, again, keep in mind from a price point standpoint. Don't be forced to send a cards that you feel just for the fact that PSA is running a special. So we do have some 90s cards in here, but it's just we didn't feel like comfortable sending 10 to 15 cards where we felt, comfortable sending from a grade standpoint, from also from a price standpoint. So just want to add that, so we are just doing a bulk order here of 20 cards. Just kind of the idea around most of these cards are anticipating some lifts, whether that's, by the time we get these back, football playoffs, players that we think that will be in the playoffs. Basketball is kind of picked up a little bit. So setting some cards that players have started off hot on teams that we think that are going to continue that trend. And then we have some baseball in here as well that, by the time we get back, baseball might be on the horizon, depending on the timeline we get back here, surprisingly. So definitely a mixed variety of sports here, but just some thought process into reasons why we are sending these cards. So with that, let's just dive into the cards that we are sending. So to start things off, we have a Derrick Henry red out of 149. This is a third-year card of his. As you guys all, I'm sure, are aware, Derrick Henry's off to a tremendous start with the Ravens. I think by the time we get this back, with the Ravens being in the playoffs are, potentially more than likely going to end up in the playoffs. Just think this is a good card to send through. We're sending a lot of his early cards already to PSA that we're waiting on. Here's just a classic Hall of Famer. It's a Paul Pierce Black out of Topps Finest. This is numbered to 99. This we have down as potential 10 as well. This card we found no issues with. So, yeah, potential 10 for this one. Here's a Freddie Freeman color match, the blue Ray Wave out of 150. This we have as a solid 10 here as well. No issues that we found. Centering look good. We are having issues with 2024 Topps Chrome. I've seen a lot of people have similar issues, but I think it's due to the back, the centering on the back. Front looks great. Top to bottom, left to right looks good. He's obviously just coming off a World Series MVP, so he is a top, our hot name right now in the card industry, so definitely feel like that's a good card to get graded at this time. Here's a Paolo Banchero out of Prism Deca out of 199 red. He was off to a tremendous start, and then obviously he was just recently injured. Do think he'll come back and come back even stronger. I do think the Magic are going to be a top 6 seed in the East and, have a potential shot at going for a little bit of a run here. Once he comes back healthy. But yeah, definitely grading as many Bancheros as we can. Here's a Topps Chrome Black Gold out of 50 Corbin Carroll. This we have as a 9 outside chance of a 10. The back of these are a little bit tricky, as you can see with the darker backs. Some whitening can show. He's a guy that we're kind of picking up. His cards have dipped tremendously due to the fact that last year he started out for the majority of the year pretty slow, just wasn't putting up the numbers he was the previous year, but picked up steam towards the end there, and I just think it's going to carry over in 2025. Here's a Steph Curry pink ice. We'll grade any pink ice of Steph Curry or LeBron for the most part. This we have as a 9, solid 9 outside chance of a 10 potentially. Centering was a little bit thicker on the right. You can see with these blue columns, for say. And then obviously with a little bit of whitening, always with these prisms from 2020. It's always difficult. But the centering looked great on the front. So there is that aspect. So definitely have this as more of a 9 outside chance of a 10. Here's a player we're buying a lot of. This is Yordan Alvarez. This is the gold sapphire out of 50. This we have as a 10. Centering looks great. You can see left to right on the back, top to bottom looks good here. Left to right looks solid as well, and top to bottom, no issues at all. And surface looks good as well. So definitely has this as a 10, buying a lot of him. I think he's just been off to a killer start of his career. I think it's only going to go up from here. Here's another Ravens that we're high on, Kyle Hamilton. This is his rookie mosaic no huddle auto from Mosaic from 2022. Have this as a 9 outside, between a 9 and a 10. But yeah, I think again Ravens pretty high on them, although they did just lose to the Steelers recently. I do think that, you know, from a longevity standpoint, this card can only go up, whether it's this year or just from a long-term hold. Here's a prospect, one of the top prospects. Had a good year, decent rookie year. I think he's only going to go up from here. This is Junior Caminero. I don't know the variation, but it is out of 75. And this we have a good chance of a 10, between a 9 and 10, and leaning 10. Centering was great this year. Bowman Chrome, I think it's 2023. Centering has always been an issue with these, I found. But yeah, centering looked good here. Left to right, no issues. Top to bottom looks solid. Have this as a decent chance of a 10. Here's another gold. This is William Contreras, rookie out of 50 from Bowman Chrome. He had a great start with a great year with the Brewers. I think he finished top 3, top 5, maybe MVP votes. I think he's their best player, and he's young enough. I think that he's off to a great start, being his age and just given, you know, just his abilities. So definitely buying some of his cards if I can from a rookie standpoint. I think he's a little undervalued. But yeah, out of 50, have this as a 10. Centering is the only concern I have with this. Top to bottom, I'm not entirely sure from Bowman Chrome, this year's Bowman Chrome, but back looks great. Just the top, I think it just looks a little bit thicker up top. But yeah, decent chance between 9 and 10. Here's, I think, the steal of all the cards I have here. This is a Josh Hader refractor auto from Bowman's Best. On-card auto. I got this for $4. And I think it has a good chance of a 10. The only issues is a little bit top 2 corner, top or left and bottom right corners, due to the fact that it's a little bit darker, as you can see. But yeah, I think this has a good chance of 10. Got this for $4. I mean, he's top 2, top 3 closers of bullpen arms of all baseball. He's, you know, been on numerous teams. I think that's his only downfall, is he hasn't been on a team consistently. But at this rate, a rookie on-card auto refractor, all it checks the boxes. I think he, you know, has and you know, I think he could be an Hall of Famer. I'm just gonna say it. I think he could when it's all said and done. So we'll see. But for $4, I'll grade that any day. Here's a LeBron James reactive blue give and go. This is number 299. We have this as between 9 and 10, leaning a little bit more on the 9 side. I think just there's a little bit of whitening in this one corner, obviously the darker corner, but. And that's not from the card. That looks like it's from the protector there. But yeah, leaning more on the 9 side. Starting, you can see the give and go. That looks good there. Top to bottom looks decent. But yeah, I think just the one corner had a little bit of whitening. Here's a guy that we definitely think is on the Hall of Fame trajectory. This is a Minka Fitzpatrick Aqua from Optic. This is number 299. Just love the color match here. Obviously, him being on the Steelers now, I wanted to get this graded because I do think the Steelers are another team that could make a run potentially in the playoffs. And if not, you know, I still think he's on the Hall of Fame trajectory. So yeah, have this as a 10. Centering look great. You can see here, centering on the front looks good. I think left to around the back, and it's a little bit of a different story here, but for the most part, I do think this has a good chance of a 10. Here's an interesting name. This is Josh Jung. This is his Gold Sapphire Gold Cup out of 50. He had a great first year. Last year, he kind of tailed off for the Rangers. I think just in general, the Rangers just did not have the year they expected coming off the World Series. So we'll see. I do think this is a good buy. You know, he's solid for the Rangers. I do think he's a cornerstone piece for them for the next couple of years. So figure get this graded now before the season kicks off. Like I mentioned, Bancaro, buying a lot of him, grading a lot of him. This we have as a good chance of a 10 with this. We wouldn't be sending a card like this if it didn't have we were pretty confident from a 10 standpoint. So we'll be sending this. Yeah, not too much else to say about him, just grading a lot of his cards if I can. Here's a Mikal Bridges silver rookie from Prism. This we think is a 10. He's with the Knicks now. He's off to a pretty good start. His cards are, I think they're evenly priced. We'll see with the Knicks if they, make a run by the time this card gets back. Hopefully it's gearing up for the second half of the season. And I think with just him being in a top market with the Knicks, who they are right now, and kind of how they're playing, I do think this is a good hold card. Here's one of those cards that we considered for the 90s order, but again, we just didn't feel comfortable sending enough cards for the 90s. But anyways, this is just the Bowman's Best Michael Jordan. Have this as a 9, decent chance of a 10 maybe. These are always so tough, especially Jordan cards in general. I just find are tough, even if you think it's a 10. Sometimes just from like a sheer pop count, they can. I think they kind of control that aspect. And obviously, they'll never say that, but that's just my mindset there. But yeah, have this as a 9, outside chance of a 10. Possibly one of my favorite cards of the order. This is the Charles Barkley Hot Numbers from 95 Flair. Have this as a 10. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a 9, just because it's a 90s card. It's always difficult. But yeah, I didn't see anything. Corners look good, especially all the coloring. I didn't see a single scratch or any real severe whitening. The front, obviously, it's that like weird film on the top. But, and again, this is my first time ever kind of grading a card like this. So from what I saw, I didn't see anything that would concern me. So we'll see. But from what I saw, I think it's a 10. Wouldn't be surprised if I completely missed something since my first time grading card like this and got a 6. But from what I saw, I think it's a decent chance of a 10. Here's a Gunnar Henderson, buying a lot of him. Actually, I have a couple of his cards already up there. This is the Gold Cup Logo Fractor Blue out of 150. Had this as between a 9 and a 10. Centering a little bit thicker on the left than the right. That's my only concerns there. Again, Topps Chrome 2024 is very difficult to grade. You can see here left to right, or if you look at it this way, top to bottom, thicker on the bottom than the top. So it all comes down to centering with this card. So we'll see. And then last card, this is the Charles Barkley Skybox Intense. Just love this card. The shine on this, it's just 90s cards. I'm addicted to buying 90s cards. Have this as a 9. I think, being that, and that's, again, I got to remove that. That's not part of the card. Being the back, being as dark as it is, I think there is a little bit of whitening. So have this as a 9. Yeah, I don't want to say it's a 10. I don't think there's any chance this gets a 10 because of the back here. I think it's just a little bit. I think 1 or 2 corners, just a little bit of whitening that's very noticeable and easy to see. So will not be saying that has an outside chance of 10. I think that will come back as a 9. But yeah, short video, just 20 cards. Hopefully get these back. But if you have any questions or any comments, would love to interact with you guys in the comment section for reasons why we might be saying these cards. Any thoughts on the cards that we were sending. If you like the video, as always, like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.